Good morning, everyone. Today it's Wednesday, the 3rd of February, and today we are learning to use parentheses to add relevant detail. You'll do now today is to copy up the sentences displayed on the screen and include any necessary edits and corrections. It might be punctuation, it might be missing words, it might be up-leveling words perhaps. You decide what's gone wrong and I want you to fix them. So pause the video here whilst you copy up the sentences now and then press play once you're ready to go through it and find out the answers. Well done. So let's see how we did. So for a change, I've actually started with a capital letter, so you didn't need to change that one. My third point is that, so we don't need a comma here at all because it's not an opener. My third point is that you should run away. That flows, there's no adverbial there, there's no comma needed. My third point is that should run away. Now I am missing a word here, that you. So I wanted to insert you. I had a missing word. My third point is that you should run away and hide. Hide is misspelt. So H-I-D-E, hide. I've expressed the subject and the verb here, so I actually have a full stop here. That means I want a capital T for this. This must show them that you going in their bag. So we've got quite a bit missing here as well. Them. Now, if you didn't pick up on this one, don't necessarily mark it as incorrect, but I would not use them because I would use must show your owner, just to clarify that a little bit more, because we used there here relating to your owner, but just to make it really clear, I'm just going to change that to your owner. If you didn't pick up on that one, I don't mind about that one too much. Must show your owner that you going in their bag. You what? So we need a word here. You hate, perhaps, despise, whatever word, detest, whatever word you chose, as long as you added a word in here. Loathe would work as well. And then going is misspelt. You don't need a W. So I'll just write that one again. Going, G-O-I-N-G. The bag, the wrong sort of there. The relating to place. So it should be there like this, and then a full stop at the end. So my third point is, with no comma, that you should run away and hide. This must show your owner that you hate going in their bag. Now I've read that once again, and I've got another mistake here. This must show, I want to change to will. If you had a different modal verb that you feel makes sense, then I'm happy with that too. So quite a lot to change there. Pause the video here if you did miss any out, but please continue watching if you are ready to proceed with the rest of the lesson. Okay, so in this paragraph, we'll be giving our third solution to the cat being put inside their owner's bag. This piece of advice should be the riskiest and the most extreme of your three, but that doesn't mean that you go too overboard and go too silly. It's the most extreme, but not the most extreme that you can possibly ever think of. So just use a sensible judgment with how far you're going to take it with this solution today. So just to put this into context, we started off with our most simple solution, then we moved on to one that was slightly riskier, and again this one should be the most extreme because we want to save that one to last, slightly more risky. And what I'd like you to do is to think of what advice have you got left to give Kit. So you might have already thought of some fairly extreme ones yesterday, in which case some of those will work as long as there is it's building on each paragraph. Or you might want to think of some other ones now. So these can be a bit funnier, a little bit sillier. So pause the video here and have a think about how you are going to best advise Kit to stop being put in the owner's bag. Oh, great. So let's see if we had any of the same ideas. So I thought about you could suggest destroying the bag. I think I mentioned this one yesterday, or you could have hide the bags perhaps, destroy the owner's favourite bag, whatever wacky way you can think of would work well there. Leaving a surprise in the bag. Hopefully you get my drift with one interpretation of that. The other alternative of a surprise is because obviously some cats really enjoy bringing in animals, don't they, like birds and mice and things, that maybe leaving that sort of surprise might work quite well. And I'm sure I would never put a cat back in my bag if they left a mouse in there for me. Definitely not. Maybe creating some sort of escape hatch, so cutting a hole in the bottom of the bag so if you ever put in it, if the kit is ever put in the bag, kit can escape quickly. Just running away from home. Maybe if all that doesn't work, then there's no hope, and just to leave and find a new home, or run away for a couple of days and come back. Maybe quite an elaborate one. It might get a bit silly, but maybe trapping the owner in a net or in their room as Kit is trapped in a bag, maybe giving the owner a taste of their own medicine. Would obviously take quite a lot of preparation, but you never know, you could maybe make it work. And this one as well, quite silly, but maybe encouraging Kit to gain a lot of weight, so then Kit can't fit in the bag anymore, which would perhaps solve the issue in the short term, but then the owner could obviously just buy a bigger bag or put Kit on a diet. So it's up to you if you want to go with something like that. But it's quite a few different choices here, quite extreme. I'm sure you'll agree. But obviously, if you have your own idea, then absolutely use that one if you're happy with what you've got. So parenthesis is used in a few different ways in this. We can clarify information and we can add little quips. I think I'm getting ahead of myself here, but essentially we've got commas, which are the most common type. We've got brackets, brackets are the most common, commas are most formal, but we still absolutely can use commas for things like relative clauses and so on. And dashes are the most informal. They're really good for tagging along little snippets and little quips at the end of sentences as well. So we can see here that parenthesis, again, can clarify information by giving information about a noun. So for example, Rover, and using parenthesis to explain who Rover is and why Rover is relevant to that statement, that we've not just mentioned a random name for no reason. Just to give a bit more detail and to just clarify points, really. It works really well in this sort of genre because you can add in little comments, opinions and quips, as I've said, and that really adds a lot of flair to your writing and helps it be more informal. So yes, the steps are very simple and straightforward, but you can really add a lot of flourish to them by using bits of parenthesis to exaggerate and just to show your opinion. So some examples here, when we got the dash at the end, you have to try it, believe me, or owners can be so annoying, ugh. And then the final one, this is a sort of embedded clause here. Your owner, as you can imagine, will be mortified. So just standing aside a little bit, just putting a bit more of a spin on it, really makes it more enjoyable and engaging to read. And it's really easy to add these in as well. And it's a really easy way to make your writing different from the model and different from other people's as well. So please spend some time today to think how you can do that. So in our original model, we didn't really have any parenthesis, but I thought it'd be a nice opportunity to use it in this one. So where could we edit this original model to meet the WALT? So we've got, if you have already exhausted my first two potential solutions, a more extreme fix would be to play dead. All you have to do is lie still until they come to check up on you. You may think I'm mad, but believe me, it does work. You'll give them such a fright, and who knows, maybe they'll even say they're sorry. So where would you put in the parenthesis? Where would you maybe use brackets to show your opinion, or a dash to have a little quip on the end of a sentence? So pause the video here and have a think where you would add that in. Okay, good. So I think at the end of this sentence here, extreme fix would be to play dead. I think that would be quite nice with a quip on the end. So something like, yes, really, or something like that would work well here. You've already exhausted my first two potential solutions. More extreme fix would to play dead. Yes, really. And you're kind of anticipating what the reader would think at that point, and you're acknowledging it with your parenthesis, so it doesn't affect the actual main sentence structure. All you have to do is lie still. I wouldn't necessarily have both of these in at the same time, but you can exaggerate here with brackets, really still, or I mean really still, until they come to check up on you. You may think I'm mad, but believe me, it does work. You'll give them such a fright, and who knows, maybe they either say they're sorry. You could even have a bit of parenthesis in at the end and say they might even buy you a treat, for example. So I think a lot of these work well on the end of sentences. gives them such a fright. You might even have a little quip here about how funny that might be, or how long to play dead for instance. So a few opportunities to add in parenthesis in this one, but obviously I'll be going through a model with you today to show you lots of other ways that you can add the parenthesis in. So at this point now, please make sure you've downloaded your vocabulary sheet from your home learning page, you've got something to write with, and you've got your paper, and then we can get started. So we're ready to start writing now, and you can see I've got my waltz. We're going to use parentheses to add relevant detail today, and the same steps as the previous two paragraphs. So our solution, our explanation, and the justification. And in this one, I want to use first-hand experience. You might want to use statistics, first-hand experience as well, a testimonial. You could use a rhetorical question on this one, but it'd be nice for you to try a different type of justification in this final section that you haven't used already. So for our paragraph then, our solution, we want to introduce it. Now I think it would be quite good to build it up a little bit and to make it sound quite extreme, to make it sound like it really is a last resort. It's not to be used before the other two. So thinking about cohesion again, you can refer back to previous ones. If that doesn't work, then you must. And so on. Maybe something simple like finally, or as a last resort, last but not least, and they are all good ways to introduce the solution whilst keeping the cohesion. And we do want to make sure we are using parentheses just to add a bit of humour and a bit of personality as well. So I think if always lends itself really well to this genre, the conditional tense. So if all else fails, perhaps, or if you didn't find success earlier, if all else fails, comma, and that's my opener. If all else fails, you must try this extreme measure. And then because we want to use parenthesis, we can use brackets here to kind of express our opinion. So you could have something like, and I mean extreme, or and I mean it is a last resort, or just warning, it is extreme. Just some sort of parenthesis here would work quite nice. Let me just focus that again. By this extreme, you must try this extreme measure, sorry, not measures. Onto my parenthesis, it really is a last resort. And then we have our full stop after the brackets, because if we were to get rid of the parenthesis, this sentence would make sense and would require that full stop there. So if all else fails, you must try this extreme measure. It really is a last resort. You might want to use some short sentences here to build up that suspense. You could have some rhetorical questions. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Or just some short sentences like brace yourself, like more of a command. Prepare yourself, or take a deep breath, or get ready, something like that. So I think I might have a question actually. I haven't used too many of them so far. Are you ready? So again, just to engage the reader, just add a bit more flair to it really. Are you ready? And then we want to go in with our solution. Now remember, whatever you say that it is, you can always add parenthesis on the end, like yes, really, or I bet you didn't expect that, did you, or something like that. So I'm going to go with, you could use the bag as a litter tray. Okay, so it's still professional sounding, it's humorous, hopefully it's given you a bit of a giggle, but I've not gone too overboard with the silliness in how I phrased it, so just be careful that you do keep a sensible tone with it. So if all else fails, you must try this extreme measure. It really is a last resort. Are you ready? You could use that bag as a litter tray, and you could add in, again, as I said, parenthesis here. You can have a dash, because I think that would work quite well. Yes, you read that correctly, or I bet you weren't expecting that, or yes, really, I told you it was extreme, something like that. Use I might go for yes, you read that correctly. Okay, so I've got quite a bit in my red section now. You could have something like just another little sentence like, I know what you're thinking, but desperate times call for desperate measures. I might not add that into this example. I'll see how I feel about it at the end. So I think I've got my solution. I've said what it is. Now I just need to add a bit more explanation to it now. So to link ideas again, so we might want to make it clear how often or when this should happen. So you can go into more detail. So in no time at all, or if all goes to plan, this will work because, or whenever your owner tries to put you in the bag, every time they try to put you in the bag, and that would be giving an indication of time there as well. So just think about how you can best link those ideas together. So I want to be clear on the time. So every time your owner, just notice how I've not said they, because I want to make it clear it's your owner. Every time your owner puts you in their bag, every time your owner puts you in the bag, so I've got my opener here, so a comma, you know what to do. If I didn't have the parenthesis here with yes, you read that correctly, I would maybe consider having parenthesis here, such as I don't need to spell it out for you, or I'm sure you can work out what that means, or something like that. But I don't want to use too much too close together. You know what to do. And then just to explain that a bit further, why is that going to cause a problem? So don't just say, you know, when to do it. We want to explain why it will work. So something like this would work for a few reasons. Well, one, your owner will be really embarrassed because, again, no one would want to be near anyone else when that's happened to their bag. They're going to be upset that their things have been ruined as well. So you can go with a couple of different solutions there. I think I'm going to go for the embarrassment. So I'm going to have very soon your owner, and then we can use some parenthesis here to just add to this noun along with anyone nearby, end parenthesis, will very soon your owner, along with everyone nearby, anyone nearby will realise what you've done. Full stop. So I've explained the point now as well. And I'm pretty happy with that. I've got some examples of parentheses. I've got 3 there. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And then my justification. So this is just your first-hand experience of when you've seen this work. So it might not have been many times, as this is quite extreme. You might have said, I've only seen it a few times or a handful of times, maybe even a paw-full of times. If you want to go with the first-hand experience, or during my many years, or during my tenure as an animal advisor, and so on, or throughout my many years, or after writing countless recommendations, and then you can say that it's worked a lot. Maybe it hasn't worked very many times, but you know it is a last resort after all. Statistics, you could talk about 50% of cats, or 3 in 5, or 3/5 of them, and so on, have had success, and how quickly. You can say 90% of cats say that this works after just one attempt, for instance, or you can use a testimonial if you haven't already. So I am going with a first-hand experience. So again, using my contractions to make it sound informal. I've seen this. I've got measure here, so maybe method work. Method work. Want to make it sound professional for all my clients who have dared to try it. You could add in more parenthesis here. You could have trust me or believe me at the end. I've seen this method work for all my clients who've dared to try it. Yes, you read that correctly. But yeah, I suppose that is different enough, so I could have trust me there. So let me read it back through again. Really important you do read it aloud and be quite critical to just avoid any repetition and to see that everything links together nicely. So if all else fails, you must try this extreme measure. It really is a last resort. Are you ready? You could use their bag as a litter tray. Yes, you read that correctly. Every time your owner puts you in their bag, you know what to do. Very soon, your owner, along with anyone nearby, will realise what you've done. I've seen this method work for all my clients who have dared to try it. Trust me. Now, you will notice that technically this could be a short sentence, and this absolutely could be a short sentence as well. But because it is an informal paragraph, we can push those boundaries a little bit more with what counts as parenthesis and what doesn't. So obviously don't use things like this in a more formal piece, narrative piece, but in a paragraph like this, it should work if you've just used it in the correct place, and obviously your main clause makes sense without it. Okay, so just bear with me in a moment and I will go through the typed up version of this model as well as the supported vocabulary. But if you do feel confident and you want to start without looking at that, then feel free now, but just please continue watching and you will see me talk through that. Okay, so this is the typed up model now. You can see matching the steps, and you can see that there's a slightly shorter one here as well. You can see I've given more detail to the red step on the solution part of this model, and more on the blue here to the explanation. So really it's up to you where you think more detail should fit. That's entirely up to your solution and where you want to really put the words and the emphasis. And then lots of vocabulary here, different openers, so you can really move away from how I've opened mine. And then you can just see here as well some examples of where you may want to put parenthesis in. If there is ellipsis, it just means you to continue a sentence, and any lines like so. Is obviously where you can insert your solution. I've included again, as I've mentioned, the different justification strategies as well. So in mine, I've been using the first-hand experience. Just make sure that you are using different ones in each one. You might want to use statistics today or testimonials if you haven't already. Yeah, so that is it. Hopefully this will prompt you and inspire you, and again use as a springboard really for your own ideas. So I hope you're enjoying this unit of writing and writing in this genre, and then I'll be with you again tomorrow to conclude the letter and to write our final paragraph. Okay, so take care everyone, have a lovely day.